So today we're still reviewing what we have done in the past, which is number 4. I can solve multi-step equations. And I hope this is the lesson we are on, but I think it is. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be combining distributive property, so along with combining like terms. So we have 4 of our 5 steps for solving. Remember, when we are solving, the first thing we always do is distribute. And this is on the anchor chart in our room, but you can also write it on your notes. I think that's always helpful to have it with you. 2 is combine like terms. And you always distribute before you combine like terms, even if you're not solving. 3 is to undo any adding or subtracting that we might see. And our 4th step is we finally undo multiplying and dividing that we see. So to begin, it's actually solving this warm-up of these 4 problems. Just simplify. I want you to do these on your own and then come back and check your work with me, only because we have to make sure that we are not oversimplifying and that we watch those pesky negatives, okay? So pause the video, then come back and check with me. Okay, I hope you really paused it for real and aren't just passing through. First one, we distribute. 4 times x is 4x. 4 times, and notice that's a -2. You take the sign in front. 4 times -2 is -8. So we have 4x minus 8. Not like terms, can't do anything else. I'm finished with that problem. Number 2, I don't have any distributive property, so I skip to step 2, combine like terms. I see I have an x and an x. I always pull the sign ahead of my term. So I'm going to do 15x minus 3x. It's a minus right here. And so 15 minus 3 leaves me with 12x. And then I copy everything else. Minus the 10. Not like terms. I'm done with that problem. Next one, we have to distribute. So I do 9 times x, which is 9x. And 9 times, making sure I pull the sign, -3, -27. Copy the rest, plus 10x. 10x is not in the parentheses. Do not distribute to it. But I do have that second step now of combining like terms. I have an x and I have another x. 9x and 10x is 19x. And then I copy the rest of the problem down. Not the same. Don't put them together. And our last one is a multiple step. We have distribute. We have to distribute twice. So I'm distributing the -5. -5 times x is -5x. -5 times -2 makes +10. But then I also have to distribute my 3. And I take the sign ahead. So I know it's a +3 times x is a +3x. And +3 times a -4 is -12 or -12. Now I have multiple things to combine. I have x's. I have -5x, and +3x. And I have constants. I have a 10 and -12. -5x plus 3x I know is -2x. And you can use a calculator to double check you're doing this right. That's fine. And then I have a +10 minus 12 is -2 or -2. One's an x, one's a constant. Yeah, constant, not a letter. And so we cannot combine them more. Now, today all we're doing is we're taking all of those ideas and we're putting them into an equation. Like always, draw your line down your equal sign. And then we're going to start with those 4 steps again. First, distribute. I see I have distribute right here, so that's where I start. 5 times 3x is 15x. 5 times -6 is -30. Copy the rest. Plus 5x equals 10. Think about what like terms go together. I have an x and an x. So I'm going to put my x's together. 15 and 5 makes 20 x's minus 30 equals 10. Undo adding or subtracting. I see I have subtract 30, so I'm going to add 30 to both sides. I'm going to actually carry my problem over here. So I have 20x equals, because my 30s go away, 40. Then I know this is multiplying, so to undo multiplying, I'm going to use division on both sides. And I'm left with x equals 2. The next one, we're going to start it off the same way, draw that line. And we start with distributive property. So I see I'm going to have to distribute here, but I also see I'll have to distribute here. So I have 2 distributive property steps. Go ahead and do those on your own, and then come back and make sure you got all your positives and negatives right with me. So when I distribute, negative 2 times 5x is negative 10x. Negative 2 times negative 6 is positive 12. Then moving on to the next one, we're distributing positive 4 times 3, which is positive 12x. And positive 4 times positive 7 is positive 28. All equals 10. So I hope you had the same as me, because that means you're on a good track. Now think about what I'm going to put together. I have x's that go together, and I have numbers. I have just standalone numbers. So my x's, I have a negative 10 plus 12, I know is 2x. And then my numbers, I have 12 plus 28, which if I do my math correct is 40, and I still have it equal to 10. Then I'm going to subtract the 40 because we undo adding or subtracting next. I'm going to continue my problem over here. 2x equals negative this time. 10 minus 40 is negative 30. I know my 2 and my x are being multiplied. Undo that using division. Keep it balanced. X is negative 15. And that was actually the end of our notes, but I was looking over your homework and I just want to do one problem together to get us off to a good start. So I chose to do number 5. So if you can get there and do this problem with me, I think it's beneficial. Like always, we start by drawing that line down the center. And this problem is going to look different because our number that it's equaling is first instead of last. We have to make sure we're still doing the same process, but it's going to feel a little backwards, but nothing actually has changed. And once again, we're going to start with distributive property. I see I have actually 2 sets of distributive property once again. For my first set, I'm distributing a positive 4, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. Positive 4 times 1k is 4k. Positive 4 times negative 1 is negative 4. And my next set is also a positive 4 because of that plus sign right there. So positive 4 times 1k is positive 4k. And positive 4 times a negative 1 is negative 4. And that whole problem is going to equal our negative 32 still. Now we're going to figure out what things are alike that go together. I have k's that are going to go together, and I have numbers that are going to go together. When I put my k's together, I have 4k plus 4k, which is 8k. And then I have a negative 4 and a negative 4, which is a whole bunch of negatives. So I have negative 8, all equals to negative 32. Then I'm going to undo adding or subtracting, so I have to add 8 to both sides. And when I do so, I get negative 24, which equals 8k. And I know the 8 and k, because they're smushed together, they're really being multiplied, so I'm going to divide to undo that. And I do it on both sides, and I figure out that k is equal to negative 3. Really, really, really watch your negatives on this entire assignment and making sure that you're distributing and you're getting your signs correct, because a wrong sign can get us the whole problem wrong.